Hello and welcome. This is Mouse Gunner, and we're back with some more BattleTech and my continued look at the backer beta build and the single-player skirmish mode that is currently the only mode available in the game. For this video, I'm going to do my first custom build at the war budget of 25 million. For my opponent, though, I'm going to be using default loadouts, and I'm going to be doing the striker loadout, as I think it'll be an interesting matchup for us. This is going to be the battle of close-in brawling. What I'm going to be doing for my loadout is kind of a modified version of the Kintaro loadout that I did in a previous video, where I used 2 Kintaros, and with that one, though, it was a little bit more well-rounded because we had some long-range support with our trebuchet. This time around, we're going all close-in attack. So what we have is 2 commandos and 2 battle masters. Now, the commandos are going to be the SRM variant, the more expensive SRM variant. And our cost comes in at 24.8 million. I would have liked to have gotten a long-range support mech, but unfortunately, I can't really afford it at this level. I could swap out one of these commandos for a Locust with LRMs, but I just don't think that will be that effective at this budget level. Maybe at the lower ones it would be, because you're facing more light mechs. Now, my opponent is going to have a Jenner, which is really good close-in fire from a light mech. We have the Kintaro, which we already know is really effective close-in, a quick draw, and I think this is the default quick draw. Let's just double check on that. Okay, so an SRM4, a bunch of medium lasers. Yeah, so this looks like the default quick draw, which also has jump jets. So far, 2 of the 3 mechs we've looked at have jump jets. So the Jenner and the quick draw has jump jets. And then finally, the Victor also has jump jets. This is an assault mech. I honestly don't really care for the Victor too much. I don't know which variant this is of the 2 Victors. They're very similar, though, the 2 variants. Oh, we have to go up, not down. Okay, so this looks like the standard one, if I remember correctly. So the main firepower for this mech is going to be a AC-20 in the right arm. To back that up, you have a couple medium lasers and an SRM-4. So we're not talking about a lot of weaponry here. And the big reason why is because it has jump jets. Jump jets in an assault mech is, really expensive from a building standpoint. And this is not really all that quick of a mech. It might be similar to the Battlemaster, though. Let me just double check here. So, speed versus the Battlemaster. Yeah, so speed's very similar to the Battlemaster, so which is not bad for an assault mech. Granted, this is 5 tons lighter, but the fact that you have the jump jets on top of that is going to really eat into how much tonnage you have for weaponry and other things. Durability is meh. I mean, our Battlemaster should be much more durable, so I'm just not a big fan of the Victor, and that's going to be the one weak point of our opponent, is that Victor. But as we see with the Victor, AC-20, medium lasers, and an SRM-4. That's all close-in firepower. The quick draw, SRMs, and medium lasers, all close-in. So this is going to be a real close-in brawl. Now, heat's going to be a problem for both sides, except for the commandos, maybe. I have an advantage in initiative because of the fact that I have 2 light mechs and they only have 1. And I have the advantage at least on heavier mechs, but they're maybe a little bit more evenly distributed. I took Death Valley specifically to address the heat issue. I didn't want to be able to take advantage of the AI by sitting in water and brawling in that way to mitigate my heat. I wanted to bite on a map where we wouldn't have that ability to get in water, and we really would have to deal with our heat. So let's go ahead and play this match. I'm curious to see how the AI handles it. I think the AI is a little bit more tuned for this close-in fighting, which is another reason why I did this loadout. Now, some people have addressed the opinion that I should be also selecting my loadout for the my opponent, the AI. And I may very well do that, but when we're still doing these experimental builds, I would prefer to just focus on my own builds. And I don't think that these default loadouts are necessarily bad loadouts. They're pretty decent across the board. I mean, I've been playing the default loadouts as well as my own custom loadouts. All right, so this map I mean, it's fairly open, but again, this is going to be about close and brawling. So now we have to predict where our opponent's going to end up. So
What can I do for you?
the real challenge we're going to have is I did take witness here for that sensor lock ability. I don't know if that's going to really play too much of a part outside maybe the first engagement. Where do we take you? I guess we'll take you this way. There might be a way down this way, but I'm not actually sure if we have a path that way or not, and that might be a wasted move. All right, let's go down into this little bit of a ravine.
Don't need to tell me twice.
Dry riverbed. Okay, so, and then Paradise. I'll go ahead and have you sprint up this way, and we'll think about going maybe over here somewhere. I may be able to split up my opponent by putting my light mechs on the flanks.
Hey,
And then our battle masters, I think we're just going to go straight at the opponent. Maybe get in behind here or behind here so that we can close that distance without taking any shots. Granted, again, they have just as close in of firepower as I do. Now, I do have the advantage of some PPCs, though, which
affirmative, Commander.
they don't really have, as far as I remember, really any long-range firepower, so we may actually be able to take advantage of them a little bit at range. We'll have to see. All right, so this is a somewhat more, I don't know, I don't really know the sizes of these maps in comparison to each other, so hard for me to say one way or the other if this is a bigger map, but it seems like we start a little bit further away. All right, let's
Waiting on you, Commander.
bring our light mech around, perhaps.
Uh-huh.
And then our other light mech,
How might I help?
I'll come in behind this bit of terrain. Hopefully we establish a sensor contact soon. Now, the one advantage of Paradise is he'll be able to give us the evasive bonus when we are walking. Okay, for now, I think I'm just going to go in behind this rock. I think that was the plan anyway.
Yup.
I'm not exactly sure where the fighting is going to go, so I guess I'll end up over this way somewhere. Because we can go and hide behind this rock if it needs be. If anything, we do have evasive, so if they do see me and they're able to fire on me at the end of this turn, we'll be able to handle it. Okay, so far, still no sensor contacts. Okay, I'm going to have to bring Witness in here eventually, so let's start heading this way. We'll put you into cover as opposed to not.
Affirmative.
Now, the main reason I'm bringing him in is because I do need to at least have him within sensor range of the opponent so that we can use our sensor lock. Okay, still no contacts here.
Skipper.
It's going to get harder and harder. Ooh, that's not the right mech.
Reporting.
It's going to get harder and harder to stay in cover here. But I think we at least try for it. So I'm going to move in over here.
Be there in a jet.
And then we'll look to get in behind here if we don't get a sensor contact, which we finally did.
Here.
All right, so there's the bad guy. We might see mech fighting over here, so let's just get in towards that direction.
Okay, let's go.
Now, both Buckshot and Ozone have the Bulwark trait, so if we stand still, we'll get the Guarded ability, which is a pretty good ability to have. I'm going to move. I don't like that move. I may just move into cover here and look this way. This could expose Ozone, but I don't really have a better move. And as I said, we can use our PPCs to poke at these guys. All right. Now we have our combat. They're going to go first. Here comes their light mech. Might already establish line of sight here. All right, well, I don't see any reason to move either of my light mechs here, so we're just going to reserve. Let their medium mechs go. The downside of having 2 assault mechs is there's going to be a lot of delay before they get to go, so... Okay, we have another evasive. Again, I see no reason to move here with the light mechs. Here we can take advantage of the fact that they go last. Okay, so that was for sure a medium mech. Oh, they do have some LRMs, okay. Well, we were at least in cover.
My old mama can hit harder than that.
And we had the evasive, so we managed to dodge some of that. Okay. Well, again, I don't see a reason to move here. I think we just go and reserve. So who was that fired at me? Oh, that might have been the Kintaro, because he has an LRM-5. I forgot about that. All right, well, let's go ahead and reserve one more time. And we'll have their assault mech go. Okay, well, now that we've gone through all of that, we can safely move our light mechs around. So, Witness is going to... I don't want to establish line of sight. Maybe just here is fine. That should still be broken. I mean, because I would be able to see him if it was clean line of sight. And then we'll be able to use a sensor lock. We don't need line of sight for that. Something that I will underline that we showcased in the last video. Something that I initially did not have right. I think we go for the quick draw here. Is not the quick draw, the Jenner. Even though the quick draw is a threat. Let's go ahead and sensor lock this guy. Get rid of his evasive. Because we'll be able to hammer the Jenner with our assault mechs here. I don't think there's anything I can do with Paradise that would be intelligent. And I don't think we should move him anyway first. I could put him in a position where he could fire at the Jenner, although it would expose him to the Victor. But I have to keep in mind, though, I would get initiative, so I could move away. But for now, we're not going to move Paradise. We're going to move Buckshot and Ozone. Now, Ozone might have a good shot here, even if he just stands still, which would actually be ideal. Oh, yeah, this is a real good shot. So, let's see what our heat's going to be like. I mean, we're going to be hot as hell after this shot. But it's a lot of high chance hits here, and we're probably not going to get a better chance to kill this Jenner. And we might just kill him right now. So, let's just open up. Yeah, it's going to heat us up, but I think it's worth it. Okay, well, we unfortunately had some misses there. Okay, we did make him unsteady, which is good. Okay, so unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to get into a great position with my other Battle Master. We could at least poke here with the PPC. And then maybe sling some medium lasers down that way. But really, I'm just going to go after the PPC shot, I think. And then next turn, we'll go for the cover. And Buckshot should be in a better position as far as heat is concerned. So... okay, so we've got an 85% chance to hit there. I think we turn off the SRMs and most of our medium lasers. Okay, so I'm willing to fire at least 3 medium lasers at this point. I mean, we've got good guts with this pilot, so she should be able to manage the heat okay. Yeah, why not? We're going to go with 4 medium lasers at this point. So this is the important one. That landed. Okay, unfortunately, he's still up. And he didn't go down. So, I'm going to go for this shot. I don't think it's a good shot. As a matter of fact, it might be a terrible shot. Because we're just at the extent of our range. And we'll probably get a reprisal from the Jenner. But... I'm hoping with our evasive we'll be able to deal with most of it. And who knows, we might get a kill here. Okay. The chances to hit are not great, but we're going to unload here.
Yes, Commander.
Okay, we just killed him. So that takes care of that. So now we know that Paradise will be able to move out of contact because he has the initiative bonus or advantage. So
What's the plan?
we're just going to go ahead and, as much as I could fire here, I don't think it's a good idea. I think the better idea is to break line of sight.
Confirmed.
So we no longer have line of sight here, but we can always use sensor lock if it comes down to that. Okay, and that's going to be that. We don't really have anything else to do, so we're just going to go ahead and brace. Okay, now our other light mech. I don't see a reason not to reserve here, so we're going to go ahead with that. Now their quick draw must have arc light in there because quick draw is normally a heavy mech, and it's going at the same time a medium mech would go. Okay, so there's going to be a lot of close-in fire, but we do have guard up, so we were able to diminish a lot of that damage. I don't think he unloaded on me either, probably to mitigate the heat. Okay, so Witness does have a chance to move here, and I have a feeling...
Waiting on you, Commander.
No, we have not established line of sight. At least I don't think so. So we will reserve one more time. We'll see what the Kintaro does. If he does another long-range poke, that's actually a horrible move by the AI, because the real damage that Kintaro has is close in. So this is a little bit of a misplay by the AI, perhaps something that needs addressing. Again, I don't think we move Witness in this circumstance. We don't really have anything that Witness can do for us that is necessary, we need to do now. So we're just going to go ahead and reserve again. Okay, so the other mech's going to come in here. We know that that's the victor. It has to be the victor. And he's trying to do what he needs to do, which is get in close. Unfortunately, he's taking too long to do it, and we're going to be able to pick apart his allies here. So there's no reason to move here. We've got our line of sight. The real thing that we need to worry about is just managing our heat. So let's turn off that PPC. Let's turn off some of these medium lasers. I think the SRM's okay because it usually doesn't do that much heat. So that looks good to me. So we're just going to do a couple medium lasers and an SRM-6. Now, I could get in closer on the quick draw, but I think it's important that our Battlemaster here just tanks the shots for now. And he did what was important, which was kill that General in turn 1. So let's go ahead and fire.
10-4.
And we're doing a little bit of setup for our other salt mech.
I hear ya.
And what I'd like to do is get in here nice and close. Maybe not too close, because I'd like to get back out of line of sight if I can. And we'll come in here, we'll poke. Now this guy does have cover, so he is going to reduce some of the damage. Poke by unloading.
All weapons are go.
Hopefully I make him unsteady. Although I don't know if that's going to necessarily matter for Buckshot's attack. Maybe we should have waited, because I might have been able to knock the mech down with Buckshot. But we're going to come up here, and we're going to open up on this quick draw. Now, I could have stayed back and you just use my PPC to its best advantage. At this point, we're going to turn off the PPC because it actually doesn't hit all that hard, all things considered. And we'll use the medium lasers in the SRM-6. Now, this is a lot of firepower we're dumping here, and we're heating up quite a bit, but I think this is a good opportunity to do so. We can knock this guy down. We'll be able to take advantage of the knockdown. Perhaps, maybe not with the light mechs. Because more than likely, we're going to want to break contact here with our one light mech. So, yeah, maybe not, but let's just open up anyway. I mean, at least we did damage to his jump jet. Prevent him from jumping behind us, perhaps.
I'm melting in here.
Okay, so we're back around to the top of the order. Now, we don't want to stand and trade with our light mech. We just want to break contact. And then Paradise has a good opportunity to just reserve. So we'll just brace. Okay. Reserve. This is where we're going to see the quick draw move. We didn't actually knock down that quick draw. I'm curious to see what the quick draw does here. That had to have been a run. There's no way that he moved that far. Oh, really? I didn't realize quick draws were that fast. All right, so he just gave us his back, though, more or less, with our other mechs. So we're going to really be able to punish him. Matter of fact, I'm half tempted to just move in. No, we're not going to be quite able to get the distance. I can't hit him in the back, but it'd be a long-range shot, and it would also expose us to the victor. So I think we just reserve, and then we're going to reserve again next turn after the Kintaro moves, which, again, he's wasting LRM shots that he should be closing and brawling with us. All right, let's reserve one more time.
An intelligent man understands the need for patience.
Okay, here comes the victor. Finally in combat. I think he whiffed with the AC-20 if he fired it at all. Okay, and now we can take advantage here. So the quick draw is already unstable.
How might I help?
So we're going to want to move in. This is not going to be a great shot, but we can move in this turn and then move out next turn, and no big deal.
Yes, Commander.
And we'll get a hit on his back, and I think our other mechs are going to do the same thing here. They're just going to back up a little bit and just fire into his back. So let's fire here. I'm going to be able to knock him down.
Target confirmed.
Okay, knocked out a single heatsink.
More where that came from.
And there's the knockdown. So this is going to probably be a done deal here. As far as this mech, I think the quick draw's dead here. Quick draws don't necessarily have great armor, but they've got great firepower. All right, so let's start with buckshot here.
Right here.
Let's hit reverse. And just reverse enough so that we're behind him. And we're not going to be in cover anymore, but that's okay. We won't have line of sight against us, so it doesn't really matter. This mech does have a lot of heat, though, so we might not be able to pour that much fire in. It might be worth a shutdown to kill the quick draw, but we'll see. Okay, so we're going to go against the center torso. We're trying to go for the kill here. So this would for sure shut us down. Let's see what we can get away with without heating up too bad. So that'd be 3 medium lasers, an SRM-6, and 2 machine guns. That might be enough to kill him, especially as we get a called shot. Let's try for it.
Affirmative.
Okay, he's dead. We do, I think, have our Inspire available too, so...
I'm nothing in here.
Okay, so right now,
Orders.
Ozone can kind of stay put. I'm not going to waste an Inspire on this turn because I don't think it's a great turn for us. Oh, he doesn't even have line of sight. I do need to cool off, though. So maybe I just stay where I am and I use Brace. I mean, I'm going to get that anyway if I wouldn't move, but I think that's what we're going to do. We're just going to let him tank, and we're going to let him cool off a little bit. Okay, so at this stage, Paradise should not be in line of sight of anyone, so we can go ahead and reserve safely. Now, the Kintaro does have line of sight, and he has it through the Victor. So here comes 1 LRM. Oh, no! And it's reduced damage, too. Okay, we're going to reserve again, and then reserve again on top of that. So this time we'll be able to use both of our light mechs for damage. Okay, so I'm not exactly sure where the Victor's... Okay, he's climbing up on top of this rock. He did hit me with the AC-20. It's going to be damage reduced. Still going to be good damage, though.
Some serious shit here, Commander.
Okay. He has no defensive bonuses, so this is going to be an unloading and a half. All right, so let's see what we have if we don't move. Pretty good chances to hit. We're especially going to be slinging the PPC in this instance. I'm going to save the SRM-6. We don't need that heat. And I can do with a few medium lasers. I don't want to build up too much heat because I'm going to wait for an opportunity to really do serious damage to this guy. So we'll go ahead and fire.
Copy that.
Okay, that hit. Because he doesn't have cover or that bulwark ability activated, I think we actually did more damage than he did, even though he hit us with an AC-20 there. Okay, so Buckshot
Standing by.
has a lot of heat. So what we might want to do is just move up establish our arc, and then, well, let me think about this. Maybe here would be a better move because we can turn. Establish our arc, and then just maybe cool off with a guard. Because right now our heat is through the roof, and I don't think we're going to be able to do too much here. I could maybe fire a single PPC, and that might be enough to cool us down some. Let's just see what that's like. If we turn everything except the PPC. So that's not doing a whole lot for us. So I think we cool off this turn. On the other hand, this is going to be the turn that we could potentially do the most damage. So maybe we attack here and just cool off the little bit that we can. On the other hand, though, with the guard, we would get more damage reduction. So you know what? Let's just get that heat away, and we'll deal with what we can deal with. All right, now our light mechs. So Paradise is just going to move in to establish line of sight, and he's going to use what line of sight he can get. Maybe we'll get sensor contact moving up here. No, that Kintaro is staying pretty far away. All right, so we're just going to fire off our weapons. They're not great chances to hit, but... Okay, we managed to hit him in the head. That's good. And he's now unsteady. And then we're going to do the same thing with Witness. So we're just going to move out so that we can see him. And maybe even here so that we could break this way if we want. And we're going to fire again. And we might be able to knock him down. I don't know if that's going to really matter in the grand scheme of things. If we take this Victor out without taking much damage ourselves, this is pretty much a done fight. And I think a lot of that is just down to the AI not utilizing the... Kintaro properly. Now, the one thing I could say here is it might even be worth keeping our light mechs out, because we might be able to blow off the right torso. And if we do that, he's going to lose the right arm, which is where most of his damage is. I mean, this mech is very highly dependent upon an AC-20 to do damage. It is a risk, for sure, but maybe a risk worth it. So I'm going to move up so that I have cover. And we're a little bit closer, and then we're going to do a called shot on his torso. See if we can make something happen, because we've got a 100% chance to hit. This is going to be for sure damage. So right torso, fire.
This should be good.
Alright, we managed to do critical damage to his ammo, which may be just as good as taking the weapon out.
How might I help?
Now, the problem with Paradise is the fact that no matter where I'm moving him, he's going to be on the opposite side of the called shot, so it might be really hard for him to pull off that shot. And he might also eat the damage. That's the real problem that I see here, is we might eat the damage from the Victor, and I really don't want that to happen. But I thought it was a chance worth taking, that we'd be able to take out his right torso. It might not work out, but we'll try it nonetheless. So we're going to go after his right torso again. I don't know if our chance to hit here is great, especially as we're firing from the opposite side, but we did manage to get it. Blew off his arm. That is fantastic. And we also have stripped his armor in the front. So now that Victor is, in my opinion, rendered ineffective. Now, a lot of damage coming our way because Kintaro are finally getting into this fight. But... ooh, and we do get the advantage of having one of our mechs go before the guy gets a chance to get up. So this is a great chance to do our Inspire. Maybe we should have done that with our light mech just to ensure that we got that. But let's go ahead and Inspire. Buckshot here. Just going to give her a stat boost. Oh, hold on. Maybe you have to do it before you select them. Inspire. Fire. There we go. So now you have that. You're just going to stay still. You're going to fire here. PPC for sure. And many medium lasers as we can dump into this sucker without overheating. Maybe back off and do an SRM-6. Ooh, that's a little bit too much. All right, this is probably good firepower. We've got that Inspire, so we should have good chances to do a lot of damage here. Let's go right in the center torso. We may be able to kill this guy. You know what? Screw it. A shutdown's worth it in this instance. So let's go for a shutdown. Yeah, I mean, the Kintaro would be able to take a called shot at us, but nah, I don't think that's worth it. I'll take some internal heat, but this is fine. Okay, we killed him. So that was well worth it. I think the shutdown would have been a mistake, though.
The heat affecting my performance.
Okay, so now it's Ozone's turn. He doesn't have line of sight of the Kintaro, so I think it's probably wise to just move here. Because we're going to have to move anyway. And we'll try and do the, you know, get in there and tank some damage. He's relatively cool. I might do stuff to cool him off a little bit more here. Really, the PPC is the only thing that has a decent chance to hit, so we'll just fire that off.
I'm on him.
Boom. Okay, it hit. Alright, so as I said, I think this is a done deal. I think we want to make it out with all our mechs, though. So I'm going to try and move so that we break contact, although I don't know if that's actually physically possible, unless we sprint, of course, which we can easily do. So let's just go ahead and sprint away. If we sprint over here, we should be out of contact. So,
Of course.
and even if we are in contact, we at least get the evasive. Granted, we would get that even if we hadn't sprinted. Okay, that's going to be him. And we did also get rid of the instability that we have. Might as well reserve our light mech. We could be attacked here, but we're in cover. We have a movement bonus. And he's just going to go after our Battle Master anyway. Did manage to get a head hit.
I'm wounded, Commander.
Okay, so he's gone. At this stage, there's no point in holding back at all. Let's just go up on top of the rock. We'll stand on top of the body of the victor.
Got it.
We'll fire some stuff off here if we don't need to. Okay, so he's got guarded, so he must have the bulwark trait. He's also entrenched, so it's going to be hard to knock him down. But it's not going to be hard to just fire weapons at him. Okay. Now it is Ozone's turn. I want to get a more solid line of sight here, so we'll just move in. Now this may be playing into the Kintaro's hands, because that's where he can do the most damage. We're going to turn the PPC off, just because that's going to deal a lot of heat to us that we can't really contend with here. And we're going to open up with everything else that we've got. Alright, he's unsteady,
On my heat, Commander.
which isn't going to do a whole lot for us.
Standing by.
Buckshot could throw out a PPC, but I think really just cooling her off is the best move. So let's just move so she's got a broken line of sight, and then we'll brace, and that should cool her off a decent amount. I mean, she's going to get heat for moving, but there we go. That's a lot of heat. Hold off. Okay, so at this stage, we don't want Witness to take a close range attack here, so we're just going to go ahead, sprint away as much as we can. This should definitely break line of sight.
Got it. Max speed, no shooting.
Okay. And he did need to kill his heat off a little bit, so... I don't know if we'll be able to re-engage with Paradise this turn. Maybe long range, but for now we're just going to reserve because he's already got his line of sight broken. Okay, the Kintaro is just going to back off here. And if the AI does a guard, that would actually, yeah, it would get rid of the unstable, but he's more or less giving us free shots here, so...
Reporting.
At this stage, it's going to be hard for me to establish a line of sight, so I'm just going to go ahead and sprint. And I'm not exactly sure what our line of sight's going to be like if I sprint here, so instead I'm going to sprint here. I'm hoping that is not going to cause us any issues. And at the very least, we sprinted full into a cover, so... Okay. Now it's going to be
Yep.
Ozone here.
Yes, Commander.
Okay, we can establish line of sight if we move up on top of this rock. Barely. So let's do so. And probably I'm just going to sling a PPC at him. Because that's going to be the only thing that has a decent chance to hit. And this will allow us to cool off just very slightly.
Here we go.
Okay, we missed with that. That's unfortunate. But, you know, it was worth a shot. And we're converging on the Kintaro's position. We could do the same thing with our Battlemaster. I may want to just tank the shot here. I don't think it is worth an Alpha Strike at this point. Yeah, we'd shut down is one thing, but the other thing is I don't think we'd take the Kintaro out necessarily. Maybe, but we've got two choices. Brace and try and tank the damage, which I think I'm just going to do. Or fire off what few weapons we can get off with, you know, with what we've got. All right, let's go ahead and reserve. We'll see the Kintaro move. I expect him to fire. Yep. Well, he's going to go after the target that he can do the most damage to.
My head.
All right, another hit there. Okay, so
What can I do for you?
don't think Witness can get a line of sight and attack this turn, so we're just going to sprint over here so that next turn we can maybe attack this guy. And Paradise
How might I help?
can get line of sight. And the way that this fight is going, we have the initiative bonus or the advantage over him, so I should be able to break contact if we don't take him out this turn, which we have actually a pretty good chance of doing. So let's go ahead and open up on this guy with everything we've got, because our heat's not too bad. And really, the Kintaro dragged this fight out. Not only was it a bad strategy to keep him back like the AI did, but
Standing by.
just by the nature of him running away and kind of turtling, he kind of has slowed down this fight a little bit. All right. At this stage, we're just going to open up on him with everything but the PPC, probably. Although we could probably get away with the PPC, although it would be a shutdown. Let's just go ahead and open up here with everything else, as we want to have some heat left over when we can get into maybe a position where he's not going to have that guard going his way. Okay, so at this stage with Ozone, we could go in for a punch to have a little bit of fun with this guy. We might be able to break his guard too, I think. I don't know if guard... that's the one thing I always forget. Does guard affect melee? I don't think it does, but I'm not positive on that. We've got a 100% chance to hit him. Why not? Let's have a little bit of fun here.
Copy that.
Okay, we managed to kick him there. This might also knock him down. Now, he got the cover. Oh, yeah, it did break. It broke his guard, as a matter of fact. So that's good. I'll have to keep that in mind for the future. All right, so at this stage, we could try and just pour damage on him, which, you know, maybe not a bad call. I can't get in behind him regardless. But I don't think two commanders are going to necessarily be able to kill him this turn. So let's just go ahead and break contact. I have a feeling he's going to die regardless of what we do. Well, we're still going to play defensive here and try and make all of our mechs survive this fight. And brace. And we're going to go ahead and reserve. The Kintaro is going to do what he's going to do, which was just to entrench. Yeah, the AI has a habit of doing that. That was actually a bad call. I get why the AI does it, but it's actually not a wise move even remotely. So we'll move to try and get a flank perhaps in the future. It's going to be hard maybe to break contact after this, so if we don't kill the Kintaro, this is, you know, going to be tricky. But let's just go ahead and fire off. We might be able to take out his leg.
Commencing Alpha Strike.
And we did do good damage to his leg. But, nope, no actual taking out there. Alright, so Buckshot can get in and punch. Hey, let's just punch this guy to death. So we're going to come in here. We're going to punch this guy. And our mech stays relatively cool when we're doing this kind of thing, so it's a good way to cool off, in my opinion. And we're going to machine gun the crap out of him. Okay, so now he's unsteady and he has a lot of damage. Let's try and finish him with a punch. Boom. Well, it was a kick in that instance. Okay, so he's got a lot of damage going on here. He's going to get knocked down, so both of our light mechs are going to be able to get into a position to do stuff to him. Okay. Well, let's start with Witness, which we know will be able to attack him. Now, I might not even want to move. I might want to just attack where I am and just go for his center torso, or at the very least move up, because he has perfect armor in the rear. Let's move to here, and let's just go after his center torso and hope for a kill. Center torso, fire. Boom. Alright, well, that was a little bit more of a longer match, but again, I think that a lot of that was just the Kintaro staying back and making us have to come to him. That caused that. So, 36-minute. Still, I think I'm improving my times, and hey, look at that. We came out with not a lot of damage. Alright, well, that's going to be our wrap-up of our first custom build at the war budget of 25 million. I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. This is Mouse Gunner, signing out.